Hello there. Hi, how are
I
you?
met you.
Well, good to see you.
I'm James Fletcher,
Hello.
Mr. President.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
My daughter Ginger.
Hello. Let's back up so you can all get in here.
This is my granddaughter Katie.
Hello there. Katie, how are you?
President Reagan. My daughter Barbara.
Now I can see you.
Daughter
Wrestling line. Reagan, is that lady?
Hello, good to see you.
This is Christopher, my grandson.
Hello there. Nice to see you. I know, I understand that you met Doug Morrow.
Oh, yes.
Morrow.
Yes, indeed.
Well, I just wanted to say something if they...
You know Doug.
Oh, yes, very well. And
He's
he's...
got a story about how we got you involved.
Sure.
Oh, she's arranging the photo.
Just one.
Yes,
of course.
One of our customers. And it was the money strike to start. Jim Stewart played it tremendously
Okay,
successful.
now you do it. No, I'd like,
And he later...
One more.
I'd like one to follow.
Yes, you are. But I like
I'll tell you, he's a...
We looked at this group thing.
He was trained as a lawyer.
Yes. But he volunteered and I used to the bags and his idea.
Can everybody look over this way?
There's never been.
Can everybody look at the top, please?
Line of work. To go aloft.
Okay,
Come
thank you.
down and right.
Say, Mr. President.
Count of.
Yeah. Well, I planned that.
Yes. And you know, one of my daughters said last night, Mother, I wouldn't let one of my children wear skirts.
That was a while back.
Yes.
James Curtis.
Well,
Here, I'll take this. I think that, so we want to lose that from the archives.
well,
Nice of you to agree to do this.
well, the doctor told him he had to watch cholesterol. And Doug said, well, look, why don't I get operated on now for something else?
Oh.
The doctor said, that's the most sensible thing I've ever heard a patient say. So they did the open heart surgery and the bypass. And within the first year following, he and his wife climbed Mount Everest.
Yeah, I thought about that. About froze to death.
Yeah, and in the complete training for the mission, he's fully, he on the weightlessness station, I understand that on that trip, he was the only one that didn't get sick.
I think that's right.
That's really
But
good.
this guy like that, he thinks also that right now we're going to trouble. But he like that, he asked nothing for the writing, any receipts would go to NASA. He feels that it's time that somebody did a real account for the United States of all the spin-offs and what they have meant.
I think that's a good idea. I talked to him about that. As long as people volunteer, I'm going to work.
He's going to die, and he had a distinguished writing career. See you.
Thank you.
Nice to see you all. Appreciate it. Right. She wore this for her
The last thing I thought I'd be doing when that picture was taken was coming back again. Later.
Okay, we're ready to go.
Yep. Do the oath. So I'll follow you. You got the Bible, I got a card. Well, I think I've memorized it by now, but I need to choose.
Well, thank you all for being here. Nancy and I want to welcome you all to the White House for this happy occasion. On days like this and at lunches like this, I find myself looking up and thinking what a wonderful job I have. We're here today to present the Medal of Freedom to 7 Americans. This medal is the highest civilian honor our nation can bestow. And I've always thought it highly significant that we call it not the Medal of Talent, or the Medal of Valor, or the Medal of Courage or Genius, but the Medal of Freedom. I think that says a lot about our values and what we honor and what we love. Freedom is important to all of us. As someone who spent many years making speeches, I've quoted many definitions of freedom, some very moving and eloquent. But I've always liked George Orwell's blunt and unadorned statement. He said, freedom is the right to say no. There's something kind of happily rebellious about that definition, and I thought of it this morning because I decided this year's recipients of the Medal of Freedom are distinguished by this. You're a group of happy rebels. In your careers and in the way you've lived your lives, you've all said no, a most emphatic no, to mediocrity, to averageness, to timidity. You've said no to the rules of the game and the regulations of the day. You've said no to the conventional wisdom, no to the merely adequate, no to the limits and limitations on yourselves and others. But it's probably true that there's little point to freedom unless it's accompanied by a big yes. And each of you has uttered a resounding Whitman-esque yes to many things, to excellence and risk and reach, to courage and the untried and the supposedly impossible. You've rebelled against the artificial and embraced the authentic. You've achieved a great deal, and your creativity itself has been life-affirming. For creation is a profoundly faithful act. You missed me. An act that's... An act that says, I trust in the future and I trust in life itself. You're all originals. You've all made America better, a better place, and you've made it seem a better place in the eyes of the people of the world. And this today is just our way of saying thanks. And without further ado, I'm going to read the citations for the medals now and award them to the recipients. Walter Hubert Annenberg. Following a brilliant career in publishing and pioneering the use of television for educational purposes, Walter Hubert Annenberg was in 1969 appointed ambassador to the Court of St. James, where he served with extraordinary diligence, bringing the governments and people of the United States and United Kingdom closer together. Since returning to private life, Walter Annenberg has devoted himself to the development of higher education and has provided support to countless institutions. Today, our nation repays his lifetime of achievement with its gratitude. So, Walter,
Thank you,
very
Mr. President.
pleased and proud.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Earl Henry Blake. A soldier of the gridiron, Colonel Earl Red Blake led the West Point team he coached into the pages of the history books. He rallied the Black Knights from a record of devastating defeats and carried them on to some of their greatest victories, winning the esteem of his cadet players and the admiration of his vanquished rivals. One of America's great coaches, he brought a winning spirit to his team, honor to his branch of service, and pride to his nation. And Red, here you go, and well deserved. Barry Morris Goldwater. Well, soldier and statesman Barry Morris Goldwater has stood at the center of American history. Respected by both ally and adversary, Barry Goldwater's celebrated candor and patriotism have made him an American legend. Hailed as a prophet before his time, selfless in the service of his nation, Barry Goldwater has earned the unbounded affection and admiration of his countrymen and the enduring gratitude of all future generations of America. And here you go, Mr. Conservative. And Helen Hayes, I can't resist pointing out that Helen was married to a happy rebel named Charlie MacArthur, a wonderful playwright and a man of natural style. And Helen, today I was remembering your story. No, in just a minute. I'm going to make you listen to a story. When she first set eyes on Charlie, it was at a party, and he was eating from a bag of peanuts. He looked at her and asked if she'd like some peanuts. And as he poured them into her hand, he said, "I wish they were emeralds." And years later, as a famous and celebrated playwright, he bought Ellen what she'd asked for as an anniversary gift, a handful of jewels. And as he poured the emeralds into her hand, you know what he said? "I wish they were peanuts." Helen Hayes MacArthur. No, this is good. Many are admired, but few are beloved, and fewer still are both. But Helen Hayes is and has been for almost all the years of this century, both. Peerless actress, peerless star, she has excelled on stage, screen, and television, playing everything from virtuous young ingenues to Victorian queens. Helen Hayes is that rare thing, a true original. She is also demonstrably a great actress, a great patriot, and a great soul. Helen, congratulations. General Matthew B. Ridgway. When a soldier rising sword in hand reaches to protect an idea, freedom, liberty, human kindness, the world is for a moment hushed. Greatness is often born in quiet, in stillness, and so it was that night in June of 1944 when General Matthew B. Ridgway prayed the words God spoke to Joshua, "I will not fail thee nor forsake thee." D-Day saved a continent, and so a world. And Ridgway helped save D-Day. Heroes come when they're needed. Great men step forward when courage seems in short supply. World War II was such a time, and there was Ridgway. General, thank you, and God bless you.
Have to put the middle name in.
Not anymore. For over half a century, as a journalist, author, and teacher, Vermont Royster illuminated the political and economic life of our times. His common sense exploded the pretensions of, quote, expert opinion, unquote, and his compelling eloquence warned of the evils of society loosed from its moorings in faith. The voice of the American people can be heard in his prose, honest, open, proud, and free. Vermont, congratulations to you and to the rest of New England. Albert Bruce Sabin. When as a boy, Albert Bruce Sabin came to the United States from Russia, and no one could have known that he would number among the most prominent immigrants of our century. From an early age, Sabin devoted his life to medicine, and by the 1950s his research had resulted in a breakthrough. In the years since, the Sabin vaccine has helped to make dramatic advances against the scourge of poliomyelitis. This medal is awarded to Dr. Sabin on behalf of a proud nation and a grateful world. Doctor, thank you for everything. There's nothing to add to achievements such as these, and no praise that can add any more luster to these great names. May I say to you simply, to all of you, thank you just for being, for doing what you've done and what you do. And thank you all, and God bless you.